Oh, Mr. Rogers. This was cool. I thought this was cool. Did anybody ever or like really Mr. Rogers fans? I thought he was always like, obviously he's beloved. He's super beloved, but he thought kids would be scared of the Wicked Witch, right, of the West from the original Wizard of Oz. And she's obviously way older at this point, but he invites her on the show to show kids how...
My favorite episode of The Neighborhood was one that featured Margaret Hamilton.
One of the movies that she played in...
Sorry, I'm going to pause the music.
Of Oz, and she played the part of the Wicked Witch of the West.
There were a lot of stories that I've heard from adults even saying how much that movie has scared
I like stuff like this too.
They were watching it as a child.
This is stuff I didn't know about.
As a matter of fact, I'm still scared watching it as an adult. So I mentioned to Fred. Fred wrote his own material. I said, maybe there's something we can do about scary images, which is being part of that. And as a matter of fact, Margaret Hamilton is a big fan of the program because she watches with her grandchildren. I had read a letter that she wrote to the TV magazine in New York City, where she lived, and she watched that public station. And Fred said to me, well, if you can find Margaret Hamilton, I'll write the script. So she came on, we found her, I found her, and she came on, and we had for a costume that looked like the one she wore in the movie, and she came in her civilian clothes to put it on.
It's helping me just to see you get into these things.
Oh, I'm glad.
To know that you're a real lady who got dressed up to play this part.
The purpose of the whole episode is that it helped children know that it was pretend.
Girls and boys like to play witches.
Yes, they do. Yes, they certainly do.
Even that.
And when you feel as if you'd like to play something a little bit.
Even him saying something like that, which is, so this is 1975. This is a year before I was born. The fact that he said boys and girls, or girls, what did he say? Girls and boys?
That it helped children know that it was pretend.
Girls and boys like to play witches.
Yes.
I like the wording of that. He didn't start off by saying boys and girls. He said girls, which I think at the time would have probably been like, well, girls have to be witches, And the way he phrased it, right? That's a way ahead of the time for the 70s, even, even the 80s, maybe even the 90s. But the fact that he phrased it like that, so that I guarantee there were kids at home during this time frame that were like that. They just liked playing house, or like dressing up, in girl stuff, or playing girl stuff, or playing kitchen. Like, I loved playing kitchen when I was a kid, But they probably ended up hearing growing up that they're not manly enough, because, boys don't do that. So I think it's really incredible. I am like Charles Mr. Rogers, Eddie. You know this about me. Hi, Happy New Year. I think that's what made him special, really, was because he was uber aware of that. Maybe something happened to him as a kid. I don't know. But he was just naturally like this as a person, thoughtful, thinking ahead, He'd be one of those people, if you ever heard something terrible about him, it would
as if you'd like to play
kill me.
Something a little bit scary. A witch is a fine thing to play.
But I think he was just a brilliant,
looking at the camera, she said,
compassionate, caring person.
But I'm an actress, and that's my job. And that's what I do for a living. And in this one movie, I pretended that I was a witch.
Oh, there's your old friend, the Wicked Witch of the West.
How did she talk?
Well, she talked like this. It's very nice to see you.
That laugh,
would
bro.
be fun to be
Shit.
able to talk like,
She scared the
became
shit
such
out
a
of me
good
as a
friend
kid.
after the-
How about you
the
guys? She was scary, right?
taping. And when our second son was born, she lived in New York, and she knew that he
boy.
was born, and she flew to Pittsburgh for the day to see him. And the funny part about that whole story is
Sorry.
that I picked her up at the airport, took her
Did you
home,
guys do anything special today, Addie?
and she was in our living room holding our son, and the phone rang. And it was our neighbor saying, "Did I just see the Wicked Witch of the West go into your kitchen?" And yes, you did. And I explained what was going on. But that's
Super
my
cool,
favorite
right?
segment.
Come back here for
That's super cool, I think. I think that's way nifty. And I love stuff like that. I really do. I love stuff like that.